Well, thank you, Mohammed, and it is great to be here in lovely San Francisco with you this morning. The fourth industrial revolution, hype or hyper engine for productivity gains, economic growth, and business success. Not an easy question to answer. Certainly there's plenty of hype. In fact, every day there's a new headline about how the fourth industrial revolution will change life as we know it, and for the better. I believe that will be the case, but I also understand the skepticism. After all, take a look at this chart. What it says, in summary, is that there was a big jump in productivity in the United States during the 1940s and 50s, part of a century of progress that started in 1870 and ended around 1970. That was a time of amazing change, a golden century. So to paraphrase some excellent work by Robert J. Gordon, a distinguished macroeconomist at Northwestern, darkness was replaced by light, isolation was replaced by travel and color images on the TV, manual housework was replaced by appliances, life expectancy went from 45 to 72, horses and buggies were out and cars drove in, anesthetics, refrigeration, sanitation, and so much more fundamentally changed human life as it was known. And there was an improvement in overall living standards, the likes of which had not been seen in human history. But then it tapered off. In fact, since 1970, the time of the third industrial revolution, productivity growth has fallen to roughly one-third the rate of the previous 100 years. Think about that. The massive innovations in communications, computing, and so much more have done little to accelerate economic growth. Yet, there was a modest bump in the 1990s and in the early 2000s, sure, likely driven by information technology, but nothing close to the scale of improvements that came some 50 years before. That should get all of our attention and make all of us concerned. What if all our hard work, innovation, and investment are for naught? What does that imply about the potential impact of the next round of technological investment in 5G, in the Internet of Things, in connected factories, and more? So a pessimist would say, we should just skip it and put our money elsewhere. Now, to be clear, I'm an optimist. I absolutely, firmly, deeply believe that we're on the cusp not just of a new technological revolution, but a new productivity revolution. One that means good things for people everywhere and that provides new opportunities for businesses of all kinds. My belief, however, is not based on wishful thinking. It is based on what I'm seeing in the market and on some very interesting work done by our wizards of innovation and analysis at Nokia Bell Labs. That team has been at the heart of some of the most important inventions over the last century. The transistor, the Unix and C computing languages, the information theory that laid the intellectual framework for the internet, foundational technology for mobile communications. They've earned 3 Turing Awards and 8 Nobel Prizes. So they have some credibility. But their work on why we will see strong future productivity gains takes some explaining, so bear with me for a moment. To figure out what will come next, we took a look at what made the growth of the golden century possible. In that analysis, it became clear that 4 physical networked infrastructure technologies provided the underlying foundation for growth: energy, transportation, health and sanitation, and communication networks. These foundational technologies were important on their own, but 2 other factors were essential for accelerating growth. The first was the diffusion of each of those technologies, meaning they had to become widespread in use before a tipping point was reached. The second was that they had to work in tandem. And only when all were widely diffused did the true magic of fast growth come about. Then we looked at today's emerging technologies and saw that there are powerful digital equivalents to the 4 foundations of the golden century. Digital energy networks, dynamically matching the generation and demand of powerful new energy sources. Digital transportation networks, autonomously moving people and goods across oceans, skies, and land. Digital health, remotely enabling connected healthcare from anywhere. And digital communication networks, which transform from person to person, point-in-time connections to billions of connected people and things interacting with one another around the clock in new and exciting ways. We also saw the development of a 5th foundational technology, digital production networks, which will result in a paradigm shift from centralized mass production to distributed and localized production facilities. Finally, which each of these technologies on a trajectory to grow vigorously into the late 2020s, we then calculated when these 5 technologies would reach a tipping point similar to what happened in the 1950s. The findings, we see the United States achieving a second major productivity jump somewhere in the 5-year period from 2028 to 2033. Now that is big news. And we believe that the jump will be significant, in the range of 30 to 35%, similar to what we saw during the 1950s. This higher productivity rate could add trillions of dollars to the US economy every year. Just to put that in perspective, if you took just $1 trillion and spread it across every citizen in the US, you could hand everyone a $3,000 check and still have $22 billion to spare. And while our initial analysis focused on the US, the research indicates, although it may be delayed by a few years, our findings can be extrapolated to other regions as well, including China and India. Now, that is pretty remarkable. But of course, what is one thing we know about predictions of the future? That many of them are wrong. Because if they were not, we would all expect to have flying cars in our driveways, or holograms like Princess Leia, or even self-lacing shoes and a Mr. Fusion energy reactor powering our DeLoreans. And sadly, the Back to the Future world of Marty McFly has not yet arrived, but the progress we are making is real. So let's take a closer look at the 5 digital networks, where we see them going, and where they stand today. Starting with digital energy, we see a world that effectively balances the ebb and flow of the world's energy grid, distributing a smarter combination of energy resources, one that dynamically matches energy consumption to generation without even a flicker. In this new world, the smart power grid, interacting with smart meters that are already in use in more than 50% of US households today, realizes its full potential as a platform. Innovation accelerates, efficiency improves, availability, reliability, and resilience go up, as does the critical issue of sustainability. And we're already marching towards the tipping point in this area. Consider the work that Nokia is doing with Tata Power in India to deliver an intelligent power delivery grid to its 7 million customers across Delhi. Running modern packet switching technology over a massive high-speed energy network, Tata Power is already achieving an incredible 3.5 milliseconds of latency across the network, despite very high levels of congestion in that city. Now, this is significantly less than the 10 milliseconds we typically see for power utility networks, and it ensures that power outages are identified and addressed before they happen. Second, we see a world where digital transportation networks break through the limits of today's congested infrastructure. Autonomous vehicles that use hundreds of sensors to measure their environment and artificial intelligence to analyze and direct actions will enable the perfectly choreographed movement of traffic. Vehicles of all kinds flowing freely across ground, water, and air with maximum efficiency. The coming change will be massive. As a result, costs will go down and speed and productivity will increase, all while improving the environment and our overall quality of life. And we're driving progress here as well. Working with Deutsche Telekom, Bosch, Continental, and other companies, Nokia piloted Edge Cloud running over an existing LTE network to see how the rubber literally hit the road on the world's fastest highway, Germany's Autobahn. And the results were powerful. Our connected cars were not only able to communicate with one another, but latency was just 20 milliseconds, 3 times faster than the average LTE network. This enabled cars to maneuver through traffic effectively, avoiding accidents and enabling the continuous flow of traffic. And of course, with 5G, we will move to systems with latency close to 1 millisecond, enabling even better performance. Third, digital health. We see a world where a highly connected digital healthcare system will supersede the physical constraints of a hospital or doctor's office. What was old will become new again with the return of a house call, albeit a digital one, whether the patient is on the other side of town or on the other side of the world. And rather than an annual physical to see if you're healthy, there will be continuous monitoring, turbocharging today's preventive health capabilities by diagnosing illnesses before they spread. add in some artificial intelligence to drive action from all the data crunching, as well as a few digital robots who serve as empathetic home health assistants, and, well, the holy grail of lower cost and better outcomes has a true chance of becoming reality. In fact, recently, with the neurosurgery department at Helsinki University Hospital, we helped brain surgery meet virtual reality to create an immersive learning experience for surgeons. It was the world's first neurological operation that was streamed live to 100 doctors on a mixed reality platform using Nokia's Ozo camera. Now, for those not familiar with mixed reality, it is a way of using virtual reality as well as digital information to illustrate key elements on an activity being streamed. For example, in this case, a three-dimensional image of the area in the brain where the surgery was performed was displayed on the screen, enabling the remote viewers to experience every step of the surgery as it happened. Fourth, digital communication. We see a world where digital communication will provide the IP layer, the digital glue, if you will, that will enable the radical transformation of all of the other physical infrastructures. At some point, it will even be hard to distinguish between the digital and the physical, as both blend seamlessly to support industries and individuals in new and powerful ways. Vastly more powerful 5G networks with artificial intelligence and augmented reality everywhere will be essential in making the previous examples that I've discussed a reality. Is this a reality yet? No. But even today, Nokia is using augmented reality and our AI-powered digital assistant, MIKA, to more effectively manage the maintenance and repair of complex networks and data centers. Take a look.
MIKA, I'm up the servers. What did the analytics say again?
Unit 10E is running continuously closer to target load capacity with 0.02% load increase rate. This server is an older generation model. Hardware upgrade is the most cost-efficient solution.
All right, migrate servers applications to a temporary location.
Transfer in progress. Would you like me to assist you in the replacement process?
Yes, please.
I have powered down the server. The next step is to release the blue lock and pull out the server. A replacement server can now be installed to the rack.
You can see how solutions like this, so simple and intuitive, can deliver tremendous value to our businesses. Finally, digital production. This one is new. Not just a digitalized version of past great inventions. Instead, we see a world where the current production model will experience the equivalent, or sort of the generational equivalent of the Big Bang, where the centralized mass production facilities of today will be replaced by local micro factories that use 3D printing, robotics, and high-performance 5G networks running on low-latency edge cloud capabilities. As a result, goods will literally come to life on 3D printers right before our eyes in near real time, driving the cost of customization down for customers while achieving near zero inventory for businesses. And we're already taking advantage of some of these early digital benefits in Nokia's own factory in Oulu in northern Finland. In fact, we are moving towards what we call a conscious factory, where wireless connected sensors and embedded intelligence allow us to maximize efficiency by easily reconfiguring operations to meet current business needs. What we found is that the case for investment in even some of the early projects, such as an intelligent power management system, is compelling, with a payback period of less than 1 year. Yet earnings, which are generally measured by EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, are what really matter, right? And as the world ushers in more innovation, we believe that IT and network-related investments in the manufacturing sector will deliver improved EBITDA from about 15% today to over 20% by 2028. That is a 33% improvement. You see, the fourth industrial revolution will not just have a high-level impact on productivity, it will give early movers in the telco industry a strong competitive advantage and the opportunity to deliver strong revenue and EBITDA growth by focusing on enterprise industrial solutions. Consider this. In 2018, the telco industry is expected to generate about $150 billion in total EBITDA as a result of delivering enterprise solutions to customers. Yet, we see that telcos who embark on a path to 5G, like moving from 4G to 4.5G and 4.9G and then on to 5G, or focusing on software-defined networking and the move to the cloud, could see massive growth in revenue and earnings in their enterprise businesses from today's relatively small base. We're talking about over 80% growth in revenue and nearly 100% growth in EBITDA between 2018 and 2028. Pretty good, I would say. The benefits will come not only from the improved efficiencies of the new network infrastructure or architecture, but also the increased enterprise and IoT connectivity revenues that open up as a result of the massive digitalization of the fourth industrial revolution. Secondly, and even more compelling for telcos who leverage next-generation digital communication networks that go beyond connectivity, such as new 5G features like network slicing and massive MIMO, edge cloud, or new enterprise-focused digital applications, the impact could be even more significant. We see about a 150% jump in revenue and a 200% jump in EBITDA for the enterprise segments of these businesses between 2018 and 2028. In fact, in some large emerging opportunities, like the one we see in the US with citizen broadband radio services, where a telco can provide private LTE networks to factories, ports, or mining companies, or possibly for digital value platforms such as Nokia's Impact or GE's Predix platform for targeted industries, telcos could generate EBITDA margins of about 40% from that scope. And that kind of return is good. It's closer to what top web-scale companies such as Apple, Alibaba, Tencent, Facebook, and others see today. If this makes you a little bit dizzy, let me provide one simple takeaway. By delivering solutions that enable enterprises to take advantage of the fourth industrial revolution, we see telcos having the potential to create an impressive $750 billion of additional revenue and close to $300 billion in additional EBITDA in 2028. Pretty significant, I would say. And we see opportunities across nearly every segment of the economy, from healthcare to transportation to energy and beyond. We expect the investments in digitalization to deliver excellent returns. Yet, a critical element in making all of this a reality is the widespread adoption of high-capacity, low-latency 5G networks. And we believe that 5G deployments will hit much sooner than 2020 or 2021, as many expect. We now see 5G deployments happening in 2019, with broad trials taking place next year. The US and China, Korea and Japan will be at the forefront of that effort. We believe that 5G will address both coverage and capacity, spanning low, mid, and high bands of spectrum. And we've seen interest expand rapidly beyond the initial focus of fixed wireless access. In short, we expect 5G to come faster and be broader than many originally thought. And Nokia is ready. Now that we have the integration of Alcatel-Lucent behind us, we are putting resources towards 5G and accelerating our work, and we're doing so massively. It is our top priority as a company to work with our customers in North America and around the globe to ensure that we deliver the world's best 5G technology. We will do that by focusing our efforts on delivering commercial 5G solutions that incorporate the 5G new radio or 5G NR standards as being defined by 3GPP. And again, we expect to deliver our first commercial 5G solutions to the market in 2019 with 5G NR-based trials beginning in 2018. We're also prototyping some exciting new technologies such as new user-installed external window-mounted antennas that connect to customer premises equipment without drilling holes into the wall. It was developed by our team at Nokia Bell Labs, and you can already see the potential form factors here at the show. Yes, there's a lot of hard work and some heavy investment ahead, but we're moving forward fast with focus and determination. And this work matters. It matters a lot, not just for Nokia, not even just for our customers, or the bottom line. It matters because it is an essential, maybe the essential building block for achieving the massive benefits of the fourth industrial revolution. It matters because, to answer the question I asked at the start, it is not hype. Rather, it is about creating better lives, a more sustainable planet, and better use of our scarce natural resources. It is about more time for people to be with each other and to connect to what matters most to them. That is the promise and the possibility. And that is what we are all about at Nokia, creating the technology to connect the world. Thank you.